whenever you get it lined up. It's going to be quite a bit of a right rudder as you power in, but whenever you're ready, go ahead and start pushing up. We're looking for either a torque or temperature limit here.
Kodiak taking off Mount Pleasant. What's your direction of flight?
We're going to take off south and then go southwest over the lake. And go ahead and rotate. And the gear lever is right down here. Little T handle pull up on it. And once we get back to 2,000, we got more torque limit, so you got a 5-minute limit in the yellow, so you can pull that right on back. Now you can go up to 19.7 once you get back to 2,000 if you want it. Start easing your flaps up 1 notch at a time. And as you change configuration, you notice it's going to trim itself, so if you just kind of let it trim, and then once it's done trimming, you can trim, adjust it from there for your feel. Let's just go up the lake a little bit, and you can feel how it flies at cruise. 2,000's good, and you can torque it right on up to the limit, or about 96.5. There you go. And it'll come right on up to about 140, 145 knots once you get level here. Where do you like to work the water over here, Andrew? This right in here?
We have a channel right there, west to east, or east to west, either way. Especially the way the winds are coming out of that direction. Yep. So you could run this middle channel. If you got a good north-south wind, we've already passed our landing zone. Yeah, we work back there behind us.
Yeah. So right down here through the middle.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely. We don't want to. We want to stay right in the middle of this thing.
I noticed some back up here a little bit, even on the sides, there was some stumps like right over there. But as long as you stay in the middle, you're good.
Yeah, right about here. Right?
Yeah, you're right in the middle here. This is good.
Yeah. All right, so let's just go up here, and then we'll come back around. We'll come in over the bridge, and then we'll set up for a water landing.
Okay.
You feel it's nice and solid. It's got a yaw diameter too. We'll want to turn that off for the water landing, but the Garmin is just an excellent autopilot system. As to correct your, if you roll too much bank in, it'll try and roll you back up right.
Really?
And it's got the level button. If you get in an unusual attitude, you can hit the level panic button, or the easy button.
Really?
Yeah. Alright, so you can back out the torque a little bit here. We'll slow it down a little bit, and then we'll put a notch flaps out. Gonna give us time to set up right on back with the torque a little bit if you want to. Start slowing it down towards 100. You can bring a notch of flaps in there. And it's placarded right here on the side for the speeds. Yeah, it automatically trims. You just kind of let it do its thing, and then you adjust it from there where you want it. As we get down over the water, we'll slow it down towards 75. The the ideal speed is 65 at about 250 or 300 feet a minute, and just be patient and let it settle on the water. Pretty much a glass water setup. Works real nice. Go ahead and slow it on down towards 100. And you can get your last notch of flaps in there now. Now you can start easing back towards about 80 here and descend down towards the water here. I'm going to be right here on the power with you, right here where I can get to it. Just keep it coming down. Now what we're going to want to do is boost the power just a little bit and get the nose set up where we want it. I'm going to help you out just a little bit right here. That's a great attitude right about there. Now just 65. We're doing 200 feet a minute. Just hold that attitude. Hold what you got. Just hold everything. Keep it going straight. I'm carrying just a little bit of right rudder for you. Keep it tracking straight. Just let it come on down. Don't try and flare it. Just let it settle right on down. Don't try and flare it. Just let it settle. Come on down. There you go. Just patience, patience, patience.
Stall.
Now you're on the water. Power off. Keep the nose up now. Hold all the way back. And you go into beta. I'll come out of beta as the nose coming down. We're going to close the bypass here so we don't suck water up in the engine. And you did your first water landing. Cool. How's that?
That's pretty cool.
All right, now on the water, we want to we're either an idle taxi or we are a step taxi. You don't really want to be in between. And on the water, you want to always keep this back. Put your water rudders down so we can steer it a little bit. Now on a wind situation like this where it wants to weather vane towards obvious obstacles a little bit, typically you want to use your get your water rudders up before you take off again, but sometimes you have to cheat a little bit and leave them down, so I'll get those back up for you. We'll go back through our same flow, we'll lock these. Everything's good, bring your flaps back up to 20. Get your trim back about to where we had it before. We're going to use a little bit on the water, we're going to use a little bit more right rudder trim, so you can set a little more right rudder trim in there. We're ready, and the technique all the way back, not cheating a little bit, all the way back. As it comes up on the water, you're going to push over a little bit to get it on the step. Right about 45, you're going to hold that attitude on the step, and about between 45 and 50, probably this way, maybe a little bit more, over, maybe a little over 50, it's going to want to fly. All right, so you go ahead and come up with the power. And
high idle?
Yeah, go high idle. Good job. And then go ahead and come on up with the power. Water right rudder. Water rudder's coming up. I'll push over a little bit. Get it up on the step. Now it's porpoising a little bit, so a little back pressure. There you go. Now just hold that. Not too much back pressure there. There you go. Right about there.
Stall.
And it's going to want to come off the water now. A little more torque.
Stall. Stall.
There you go. A little ground effect.
Stall.
And you're flying. And however you guys like to do the neighborly thing, if you want to turn and go right down that channel right there. We're not continually flying over the same people's houses.
Yeah, we try to be pretty conscious about that. We're out here so much. This thing's not as loud as what we're normally out here in, so
yeah,
I ought to be grateful today.
And then I just usually when I'm doing this kind of stuff, pick the open field route back to where I want to come back to the water.
We want to close the bypass.
You can leave it. It only costs us 1%. When we're doing water work in and out of the water, I'll just leave it on.
Okay.
And we're always conscious of fuel imbalance while we're doing the water work. Sometimes we get in a pattern of doing left turns, and then we end up starting to get heavy on one side. So, and we'll do the same exact thing. We'll just get you set up slow and then come in over the water. You just see that one attitude, and then hold that at 65, and just it's a game of patience. Float flying is just a game of patience. Thing you want to be is tracking straight, and you don't want to flare. You don't want to do a full stall landing. We basically stood right there towards the end, but you just let it fly at that 65 at 200 to 300 feet a minute, and you're not even going to feel it go on the water. I always tend to use the trim wheel. I always feel like that's, that electric trim, it kind of goes a little bit too far for me. To me, I get a little more precise off of that, but you do what you want to do. It's just a technique. Do this one, we'll bring it to a stop, and then we'll do a little step taxi. I'll show you the floats, and then show you the fact that you're about a half of a thrust lever movement from being a boat or an airplane.
Where the gear light? All right, here. Gear up for water.
Yeah. And it's going to tell you here in a little bit when you get down towards 75.
Water landing. Gears up for water landing.
So the gears are up.
Landing,
We concur. I'm canceling that. A little less power, a little bit more nose up. You come back in with a little bit of power. There you go. That's a good attitude. Now just adjust your power for your sink rate. Just hold that attitude. Keep it going straight. There you go. Just patient. You're doing great. Patience. There you go. Now wipe the power off and nose up. Hold the nose up.
Stall.
All the way back. Pull it all the way back in your lap.
Stall.
All the way back. There you go. That's where you want it right there. Now come out of the beta. As the nose starts dropping, ease back out of the beta there. And your water rudders are down there. Go to low idle. There you go.
I like it.
That was the perfect settle because you just barely started feeling the tops of the waves. It was that was perfect.
Yep, absolutely. All right, one more time. Let's go back to flaps 20. You're down here. Set your trim. Do the same thing. I'll man the water rudders for you. We'll get it up on the step, and once the rudder comes effective, I'm going to bring your water rudders up. All right, so back to high idle. All the way back in your lap. You always want to try and keep you're always trying to keep the floats, the tips out of the water. You don't want to submarine those at all. So when you're float flying, it's uncomfortable, I know, but basically get in the habit of holding that thing in your lap as much as you can. Whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and get it up on the step, and I'll tell you when to kind of ease back out of the power. Water rudder's coming up. Push over the nose a little bit. Now, as it's on the step, go ahead and back out of the power a little bit. Now we're going to do a little bit of a right turn. We'll just use a little aileron into it. Now your boat, a little less power there. And maybe just a little touch more. There you go. You feel the heels digging in just a little bit. Now on these arrow sets, you can feel them. If you push them over a little bit, you can feel them. I got it just a second. Feel how they want to drag on you. You don't want to feel that. Right in there is the sweet spot. Now add just about a half a bubble and you're already flying.
Wow.
Go ahead and add more torque. Bring it on up. Now we're an airplane again. You still got to carry a little more right rudder there. There you go. Let's go back down if we can. Just leave it flaps 10 and just rack it right on over there. As long as you got 85, you're not going to hurt anybody. I just go straight down here and climb out a little bit up here so we're not, there you bring your prop back. 2000, there you go. Yeah, one more, I think he's got this.
Yeah. The problem is I think he's having fun.
Not going to be able to get him out of there, are we?
Get him water checked out, he's going to leave in the Apache and never come back.
And the problem is what?
Yeah.
What's the problem with that?
There's no problem.
That's what I thought.
I won't get to fly it then.
Sounds like his problem now, right? Let me see it. I'll get a good picture of you flying this thing.
Not often I get a picture of me in the front seat and you in the back seat, Andrew.
Fine with that. I've never got to be in the back seat of a Kodiak. It's nice back here.
Wish I had more legroom. There's always somebody bitching about something in there.
Okay, where's the headset jack? What'd I say?
Pull it out.
All right, what the hell am I doing here?
Keeping me safe.